Hello, and welcome to a quick guide on how to make a character in the tabletop game Shin Megami Tensei Tokyo Conception. My name is Churcher.
Hi, I'm Fern.
And I'm Jake. Hi, guys.
Let's get started. The only things that you'll need for this is a character concept, 2 10-sided dice, and the rulebook. First things first, talk to your game master, or GM, on what the session or campaign will look like. If your GM states that they want to do an all-demon game, or, a game about how humans survive in the Vortex world, or maybe even how a group of Jack Frost survive in the Manta army, you might need to adjust your character concept to fit a little bit. The GM should consider what you want to play as well, but make sure that you're flexible in your own concept. For this video, each of us will be making a character at our lowest level first to show off how the process would look like. Then, we're going to give ourselves 1500 experience to show how the leveling process works. But let's go ahead and explore some of the basic character concepts.
First things first is stats. Every character has 5 stats: strength, magic, vitality, agility, and luck. Each of these plays a role in determining how well you accomplish certain actions within the game. Strength, of course, determines how physically strong you are, and determines how strong and how accurate you are with physical attacks, and your basic strike. This is important, everyone has one. Magic determines how well you can manipulate magic, and determines how well you cast spells and the power of those spells. It also determines how many magic points, or MP, you have total. Finally, it also determines your magical resistance. Vitality gives you health and how well you can endure attacks. They determine your hit points and HP, as well as your physical resistance. Agility is how quickly you can move. It impacts how well you can dodge and your position in initiative. If you're playing a human and wish to use a firearm, it also impacts how much damage you do. Luck, finally, is how well fate smiles upon you. It affects how well you can talk to enemies, how lucky you get, and how many fate points you have at the start of every session. Next, determine which class you'd like to play. Your choices are Fiend, Demon, and Human. Let's go over each of them.
First, let's talk about fiends. Fiends are humans who have found a Magatama and ingested it somehow. The type of Magatama determines your bonus stats, what affinities you have, and what skills you learn upon leveling up. You have 1 Magatama active at any time, but you can have up to 3 ingested. You can determine which Magatama is activated at any time outside of combat, but once combat is started, you're locked into that choice and you cannot switch until combat has ended. You also start with 2 in every stat. You also start with a Magatama. Generally, you only get to pick a starter Magatama, but if you're starting at level 20 or higher, the GM may allow you to start with an advanced Magatama. The Magatama you select will have additional stats that can be added to your stats while it is the active Magatama. It'll also give you skills that you can learn. With all of this, you also gain any one talk skill of your choice, regardless of the Magatama. The book recommends you get Scout. Fiends are allowed to use items, but they can't use armor or weapons. When determining your HP and MP, your HP multiplier is 6 and your MP multiplier is 3. For my character, I have picked the Wadatsumi Magatama. All of my stats start at 2, but the Magatama will give me a +1 in strength, +3 into my magic, +3 vitality, +2 to my agility, and +1 luck. So that gives me 3, 5, 5, 4, 3 for my stats. It also gives me the ability to learn Bufu at level 1, which I have, so I can now cast my magic spells, my ice spell, if you will. And additionally, I also have Null Ice as my affinity, as well as Weak Electric. Don't hit me with anything like that. And then I have my starting HP of 36 and MP of 18 due to my stats.
Demons are the primary life form in the Vortex world. Tokyo Conception allows you to play as a demon, but such a power comes at a cost. Demons need more experience to level up, and their stats are acquired more randomly, but they can fuse with other demons or evolve upon leveling up. When you start to make a demon, refer to your GM's recommendations for a starting level. You can then select any demon of that level or lower. If you're starting at a pretty low level party, you'll choose a demon from the following list: Pixie, Mini Frost, Kodama, Huapo, Hellhound, or Kotengu. Your choice will determine what your stats are, what affinities you have, and what skills you'll learn at what level. Also, it will determine what level you evolve, and into what. As a final note, when selecting a demon at higher levels, or evolving into a new one, GMs are discouraged from allowing Haunt, Foul, Vile, or Tyrant demons. It's not to say that you can't, but be sure to discuss that with your GM before selecting that as a concept. Demons are not allowed to use items of any nature, but can still collect them. When determining your HP and MP, your HP multiplier is 6 and your MP multiplier is 3. Let's jump over to my stat block. As a reminder, the demon I've chosen, Apsaris, starts at level 8. When the DM gives us what level we'll be starting at, we'll add some more levels onto that, but we'll come back to it later. Anyway, our starting stats, starting from strength, are 6, magic 6, vitality 6, agility 5, and luck 5. I've basically taken this entire stat block as is and copied it into my character sheet. Taking a look at some of our skills, of course we've got some nice magical attacks here in Lullaby, a talking skill in Seduce, and of course, once we get up in a few more levels, I'll be able to grab Mazio and Anti-Mind. That'll be important for later. Our HP and MP is starting out at 84 and 42 respectively.
Alright, lastly, we have humans. Humans that have survived the conception have a reason to be inside the Vortex world. Either by strength, fate, or just dumb luck, anything is possible for you. Humans automatically begin with the skills Lucky Find, Luck Smiles, and Scout. The next thing we need to decide is what subclass to play. The subclasses determine your starting stats, what items you start with, and which skills you can earn while leveling up. The subclasses you can choose from are Potential, Reporter, Brawler, Swordsman, Maiden, Sorcerer, Soldier, or Mannequin. Mannequin's a demon, but it can be treated as a human. As a human, you can use items, as well as gear. You can even use a firearm, which uses your agility stat for the attack and damage, but unlike other attacks, won't add your level to the damage. Additionally, humans benefit from gaining more out of their experience. They only need 80% of the EXP required to level up that a fiend would. Another benefit is that humans naturally gain the null light affinity. Humans are a bit more frail than demons or fiends, however. When determining your HP and MP, your HP multiplier is 4 and your MP multiplier is 2. Finally, humans can change their nature. They can ingest a Magatama and immediately become a fiend, or they can fuse with the demon or a demon card and become a demon. But this is a permanent effect. You can't go back to being a human if you do so, or change which class you are in the future. Choose wisely your path to power. So for my human, I think I'm going to pick the Mannequin for this one. So Mannequin has starting stats of Strength 1, Magic 1, Vitality 2, Agility 1, and Luck 4, which is actually, I believe, 1 less than all of the other classes in terms of stats for humans. At level 1, they get Item Pro. Humans also start with items. So the Mannequin starts with the Medicine, which recovers 50 HP. And mannequins have extra rules. So mannequins are treated as demons, sort of. They cannot use Magatama. They can still become demons through manifestation. They cannot be used as ingredients for fusion. And they also gain Null Dark, in addition to Null Light. And finally, on the mannequin benefits, at level 60 or higher, if they're evil enough, they can evolve into something called Sakahagi. So with a vitality of 2 and an HP multiplier of 4, I have a starting HP of 12 and a starting MP of 4 with a multiplier of 2 and a magic of 1. Alright, now that we have our characters at level 1, we're going to talk about additional skills. So at level 1, and every 10th level afterwards, you get an additional skill to learn. All characters, regardless of class, get these additional skills. If you want, you can choose a skill from the table, or you can roll it. Just remember, you can only have 8 skills at any given time, and if you get a 9th skill, you have to decide if you want to replace a pre-existing skill or not learn the skill.
For the purposes of our characters here, I've decided to roll on the table. I got a 7. I already have Scout, so I think I'm going to take Patra, which will allow me to remove Restrain, Sleep, and Panic from a target.
As for myself, I also chose to roll on the table. I rolled an 8, which gives me the choices Posamudi or Expert Dodge. While Posamudi would be nice to remove poison from my allies, I'm going to go with Expert Dodge.
And I will choose to pick from the table because seeing as that I am very frail and have no health, I think I'm going to pick a second Luck Smiles. I already have one copy of it, and normally you can't learn a skill more than once, but Luck Smile says you can learn it as many times as you want.
Once you've decided on your class and all the other options within the class, including the additional skills, now's the time to determine your target numbers, or TNs as you will commonly see them referred to, as well as any other stat you might need. At any time you don't have a whole number, you'll round down. For your stat TNs, it's calculated by the formula stat times 5 plus levels and any other multipliers. The higher the number, the better. It can go up to 300% or more. Your dodge TN is calculated with agility plus 10. Your negotiation TN is calculated by your luck stat times 2 plus 20. Hit points are calculated this way. It is your vitality plus level times your hit point multiplier. As a reminder, fiends and demons have a hit point multiplier of 6. Humans have an HP multiplier of 4. Your magic points are calculated by magic plus level times your MP multiplier. Fiends and demons have an MP multiplier of 3. Humans have an MP multiplier of 2. For your base power, whenever you use an attack or spell, you'll need to add your base power to the ability's potency. To determine your physical power, it is your strength plus level. For your magical power, it is your magic plus level. For resistances, whenever you take damage, you will reduce it by whatever the resistance is. If it's a physical attack, you'll reduce it by your physical resistance, which is your vitality plus level divided by 2. Magic resistance is magic plus level divided by 2. All characters have the ability to alter their fate with fate points, and it can be very effective. You will determine your maximum fate points with your luck divided by 5 plus 5. You'll always have 5 in that regard. You'll get that many fate points at the start of every session as your maximum. Characters will use Maka as the currency in the Vortex world. You'll get 50 times your starting level when you create your character.
Once you have your character concept and stats derived, you now determine your background. Of the 3 tables, select or roll for 2 backgrounds. This will determine what contacts you have gained before the game has started. Characters should have at least 2 contacts before finishing character creation. You may need to create a contact that fits your background, if you selected 2 backgrounds with the same contact. You can also select from the extra contact table.
Now that your character exists in the Vortex world, what are they going to do? What's the reason for sticking around? It could be something as short term as survive to find out what's going on, or save Mr. Hee-Ho from the rampaging Fornius. It can also be long term. I personally think overthrow God and create a world in my image is a great goal. Goals can change, so don't be locked into one, but make a goal fit with the theme of the game. Talk with your GM if you want more direction to help fit inside the scenario.
Next up, you need to determine your name and personal info. It's the hardest part for me personally. Give your character a name if you haven't already. Also, age, gender, height, weight, build, as many characteristics as you want. Demons, well, you have an easy time here. Your name is, well, what kind of demon you are. Your appearance is pretty much already described, but feel free to give a few personalizations to your demon. Maybe a scar here or there. Maybe they have a different skin color than normal. It's your character. Play how you want.
Once you have your character, it's time to determine how your character knows the others in your party. With your group, choose another character that you don't have a bond with and either roll on the table or choose a bond. Always check with the player of that character to determine if that bond fits with their character concept, or if they want to do something a little bit different. Just note that not all bonds are reciprocal, and can very much be one-sided. And that's it, your character is now created at level 1. If this is your session's starting point, then you're ready to go. Good luck in the Vortex world. However, most games will start at a level above 1. Our characters still have 9 more levels to go through, for the fiend and the human, of course. Here's how to level them up.
Once you've hit enough experience to level up, you can do the following. One is your stat increase. All characters get to add 1 point to one of their stats. No stat that goes above 40, including with any bonuses such as Magatamas or whatnot. Fiends and humans get to choose which stat they want to put it into. Demons have to roll on the stat growth table. Each demon has a preferred stat and has a higher chance of rolling that stat. Once you have your stat, you'll have to recalculate all of your TNs. Don't worry, it's not that bad. All of your TNs increase by 1 because your level goes up. If that stat increased, it goes up by 6 instead. Maximum HP and MP are also increased by your multiplier. Twice your multiplier if you put that point into Vitality or Magic, respectfully. Resistances and base powers also increase by their formulas. If Agility increased, Dodge is increased by 1. If Luck is increased, Negotiation is also increased by 2. Also, if your Luck hit a multiple of 5, your maximum Fate points also increase, but you don't get any new ones until you start the next session. And if you hit a level where your Magatama, Demon, or Human would give you a new skill, now's the time that you would now learn it. You can only have a maximum of 8 skills, so you need to decide to replace one if you get a 9th. You can't learn multiple skills in a single level up, and if you have multiple options, such as multiple Magatama, you can only select one. Any skills unlearned or not learned are lost until you find other ways to reacquire it. And if this level is a multiple of 10, you do earn an additional skill from the additional skills table. If you're in the middle of a session, you get a full recovery of your HP and MP. Time to get back into the fight. With our 1500 experience points, my Fiend has made their way up to level 11. So I got to mess around with 10 points on my stats. I increased my magic to 6, increased my vitality to 4, increased my agility to 3, and luck to 3. I want to be a little bit more well-rounded. I learned Ice Breath from being ingested with the Watatsumi Magatama, and at level 11 I got the mana bonus skill as well. At level 10, I got the Agi skill from additional skills because I wanted to mix it up, be a little bit of fire and ice for everything. My HP increased up to 108, and normally my MP would only be 60, but because I got mana bonus, it increased my multiplier. I now have 80 MP. My affinities did not change because my Magatama did not change, so we're good to go there.
For our character, you'll remember I pointed out at the beginning that this demon starts default at level 8. With the amount of experience that we've been granted, this pushes us up to level 10, so we'll only be getting 2 level ups this time. I went ahead and rolled 2d10 on the demon stat growth table, and I rolled a 2 and a 7. This will be granting us +1 magic and +1 of our demon's favored stat, which luckily this time is also magic. Increasing our TNs as expected, we also learned 2 helpful skills. That'll be Mazio and Anti-Mind. Anti-Mind is nice, but Mazio will be really great considering the +2 magic we just got overall. One last thing worth noting, hitting level 10 grants us another additional skill. This time, I decided to pick from the table, granting us powerful spells. Because who's to say lightning can't strike twice?
And for the Mannequin, 1500 XP gets us to level 12. So I decided to add 3 points to magic and 2 points to vitality, bringing both to 4, and 6 points to luck, getting to 10. That gets me 2 extra fate points from level ups. Now, importantly, the Mannequin learns a bunch of skills going up to level 12. At level 3, we learned Expert Dodge. At level 5, we learned Panic Voice. At level 10, we learned Warcry. I also noticed that Panic Voice and Warcry are very mana-hungry abilities, so at level 10, I took mana bonus as my extra skill. That was my 9th skill, so I decided to replace Item Pro for mana bonus. Our HP increased all the way up to 64, mana up to 48 with the extra from mana bonus, and our defenses are sitting at nice round 8s.
And that's it for leveling up. Now, one last little thing we'll leave you with are some optional rules. There are a few optional rules that can simulate the video game a little bit more. They add a little bit more complications when you level up, but allow for more variation for when it happens. Ask the GM if you're going to use any of these rules before starting any of this. For fiends, we can have the Magatama Rampage. If your Magatama still has skills to learn, your Magatama starts to act violently when you level. You can either let it rampage or suppress it. If you suppress it, nothing happens. Otherwise, you roll on the Magatama Rampage table to see what happens. You could wind up restoring your HP and MP twice. It happens.
As a demon, we have access to demon skill swaps or upgrades. A demon that has learned all of their skills, or when they would not learn a skill upon leveling up, they have the option to power up a skill to their upgraded form. Or they can swap out a skill for a completely random one. Certain skills can be powered up or swapped out. Refer to the list of them, skills, page 89, to see if the skill you want qualifies for this. To power up the skill, find it on the power up/change table on page 93, and refer to the post power up skill. You get that skill and you'll lose the older, weaker one. For instance, Agi would upgrade to Maragi. You will of course lose the original Agi skill. With this, if you choose an affinity change skill, the affinity must match. For example, an anti-force would need to be upgraded to null force. You cannot change anti-force to null ice, or anything else. Additionally, you can only choose an affinity change skill for the 5 main damaging affinities. Those are physical, fire, ice, electric, and force. To change a skill, select the skill you wish to replace. Determine which grade it is on the power-up change table, and roll percentile dice. See which skill group you rolled on, and you gain the skill of that grade. You then lose the original. If you rolled the same skill group as the one you were trying to replace, well, nothing happens, but you do get to try again on the next level up. For example, I have Megiddo that I no longer want. That's a grade 2 skill. I'll roll a 32 to get the Mudo group. I'll drop Megiddo for Mudo. That's pretty lucky, actually. If you roll an affinity change skill, roll on the random affinity table to determine what affinity applies to your new skill. A demon only gets either one power-up or one skill change per demon form. In order to do another power-up or skill change, they will then need to change their form through evolution or fusion and level up once again.
Humans on level up can have fate smile upon them, and can get some random items every time they level up. After finishing all the leveling up process, you can roll a luck check. If you succeed, you get a random item from the gift table A, which is on page 91. If they critically succeed, you get an item from gift table B. If you fail, nothing happens.
And that's our quick character creation guide. If you have any questions, feel free to visit us on the LionWing Publishing Discord. We're happy to answer any questions you may have about the game. Well, once again, I am Ben Church.
This has been Fern.
And I'm Jake.
Thanks for watching, and have good luck in the Vortex world.